Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. Today, we've got a good friend of mine, Oli Billson, all the way from the UK. He put off his pub crawl to spend time with us. That's how good of a guy he is. Oli shares how he started as an entrepreneur at age 15. He built up a business that he still runs with 175 franchisees, and then how he spun off his own marketing agency with 29 staff, 16 core people, and how he's helping grow his own business by helping others do the same. And he shares some great insight, and you are in for a treat. As I've mentioned in the last several episodes, check out the Dig Deep offer. It's a way to spend one-on-one time with me to quickly dive into your business, your goals, what's holding you back, figure out a course of action so you can move forward aggressively. One of the things you'll hear Oli talk about in this interview is speed. You know, how quickly do you want to grow? And money does love speed. And I think the thing that holds us back quite often is just that uncertainty. You know, I took my 19-year-old son and his girlfriend to the driving range yesterday, and he's never really golfed, never been into it. So we had fun. I was giving him some pointers. And, he's making all the mistakes you make when you're brand new. And but it just reminded me how being indecisive in golf is when I make my worst shots. You know, it's like, well, is it a hard 8? Is it an easy 9? You know, or vice versa. Actually, I'm losing my mind. I need to golf more. Is it a hard 9? Is it an easy 8? Do I take the 8 and just kind of grip down on it? Do I take the 8 and do an easy swing? And that indecision, that doubt, you end up putting just a nothing swing on the ball, and you just have horrific results. But when you can commit to a course of action, good things always happen. It may not be the results that you expected or wanted or planned, but you're going to be in the right space. You're going to be heading in the right direction. And sitting still, for sure, is not the right direction. So digdeep.today. You can apply there. As soon as you pay the retainer, you're going to get a detailed questionnaire. And as soon as you get that back to me, we'll schedule a private time, a recorded call, screen share, video, and we're going to dive in to what you need to work on. And your results are guaranteed. If you need more help after that, which most people don't, honestly, we can talk about the 90-day program, and that retainer will be applied to the 90-day. But otherwise, if you just want to spend one-on-one time with me, pick my brain, have me look over anything, websites, landing pages, email funnels, copywriting, your presentation, your webinar, brochures, whatever. That's the best, fastest, most affordable way that you can do that with me. All right, so check that out, digdeep.today. Now let's bring on Oli. Oli Billson, entrepreneur, speaker, fellow podcaster, all the way from New Zealand, or is it Nova Scotia? Where's that accent from? Alaska?
Give me a break. You know this by now. We don't have to go through this every time.
Are you Swedish? You're Swedish.
You're too kind, actually. That would be a compliment.
Oh, come on, man. Don't be beating up your UK friends. Well, welcome to the Sales Podcast, man. How the heck are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
So it's about, what 3:30 there in the afternoon?
Oh, 5:30. Come on, 5:30.
Oh, wow. All right. So 5:30. So does that mean 4:30 or 5:30? You know, I'm an ugly American, man. I don't...
5:30. I mean, I'm doing this out of hours for you. That's just how much love I've got for you.
Oh, so I'm standing between you and the pub, huh? So we're going to make this quick?
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
Let's make it.
Very nice. Well, man, thanks for setting your pint down and hopping on this podcast to shed some wisdom on our listeners. So for our friends, though, that may not know who you are, would you mind give us a little thumbnail sketch and then we'll dive down the rabbit hole?
Yeah, for sure. So My entrepreneurial journey started when I was 15 years of age. And since then, I've never worked for anybody else. My first business was building custom computers, and had a foray into exporting those computers to the Far East, would you believe, at the age of 15. And kind of certainly got the bug that was passed on to me from my dad, who'd had his own business. And I just never really had any appetite to really work for anybody else. So I continued that on and started a number of other businesses, and mainly I kind of built businesses within businesses. And so one of my businesses was a window tinting business. We then started training people how to do window tinting. We then started doing vehicle remapping, which is recalibrating software. My technical side played a part in that. And then we started selling franchises for that. And then in about a 4-year period, we grew that with some marketing wizardry from 0 to 170 franchisees internationally. And right now, spend most of my time in our marketing agency, Oli Billson, helping other high-level entrepreneurs and small businesses grow their business.
Goodness gracious. And so at 15, and I mean, you're only 18 now, right? So you did all that in 3 years?
It's these new moisturizers can do wonders these days.
Those peels are doing you great, man. I mean, you don't look a day over like 12. I mean, it's amazing.
Thank you.
So did you work with your father on those things, or it was always on your own?
Yeah, no, it's always on my own. I guess really some of it came that, the kind of the backstory to that backstory is that I was actually a national tennis player. From an early age, I played tennis and played fairly competitively. Actually played against Andy Murray as well, and a number of other people that went on to do quite well. And then at the age of 14, I broke my wrist, and I guess I'd done a lot quite young anyway, and just decided that I needed to focus my attention and into something else, and that just so happened to be something else I was interested and passionate about. So that's how I got started. But honestly, that was the best education I could have. Actually playing sport at quite a high level, and it's quite serious at that time, and taught me a lot about business, taught me a lot about life, matured me quite early on, and definitely put me in a place where I could take advantage of that from a business perspective.
They actually play tennis in the UK?
Yeah, it's like a poor man's sport, really. Over here.
Gotcha.
It's just, yeah.
Gotcha. Very
we just scratch on by,
I know. I mean, you play on grass. I mean, you can't even get a court. I mean, maybe one day they'll get a little money over there, and you can play like on a hard court.
Anything could happen. We might even produce one of the world's best players. Who knows?
That would be amazing. All right, so 175 franchisees. What was that business? Tell me again, because you were going kind of fast.
Yeah, sure. So it's a vehicle remapping business called Black Code. And we recalibrate the software on about 17,000 different vehicle variants, all different manufacturers, models, and we sell a business opportunity, a franchise, to help people start their own business part-time, full-time, or as a bolt-on to what they already do.
And you still have that?
Yeah, still have that right now. In fact, we kind of treat that business and our training business, my other business, as one of our own clients, actually, in the agency.
Right.
So we still do the marketing for that right now. It's still growing. It's still flourishing and doing well.
Very cool. So what made you decide to spin off a branding and marketing agency?
Well, the truth is something that I learned probably over 10 years ago now, was that it didn't matter how good I was at what business I was in. It was really the idea of understanding that McDonald's don't necessarily make the best burgers. They've just got a very good system for acquiring customers, and so it didn't matter how good I was at what I was doing, even though I'm by nature kind of a perfectionist and very detail orientated. I had to get good at getting and keeping customers. And so really, as we both know, that's like the lifeblood of every business. And so I kind of went into, research, looking at ways that I could and should do that, and came across direct response marketing. And initially found, as most people's kind of journeys start out, kind of the good greats like Dan Kennedy, and started studying that material, where I started to learn about how to implement direct response marketing, which really was the catalyst for a lot of success that we've had since.
So, but then you figured, hey, everybody struggles with this. Let's create a spin-off business.
Well, what was interesting was we had got, in a short period of time, we'd been able to create a marketing system that was, I'm not going to pretend that everything's always a bed of roses, but we got a predictable system down for acquiring customers, and one of the things that a few people had started to realize was, a lot of the things we were doing, a lot of things we were implementing, especially when we were marrying direct response marketing up with marketing automation, some of the things we were doing, we thought that that's what everybody was doing. And even though I was an early adopter of Infusionsoft, certainly in the UK, I thought that everybody was doing this stuff. And it turned out that not many people were, and not many people were growing that quickly. So a few people had kind of, just through conversation, had kind of took notice and wanted to learn more how we could help. And initially I started consulting with a few different companies in different niches, completely unrelated to ours. And I'm quite an impatient person by nature, as you know, Wes. And so I kind of got a bit disenchanted by that consulting thing, because honestly I did it more for fun than I did for the money, because consulting's kind of time for money work, and that money could have been better spent, that time could have been better spent on my own business. But I was just disenchanted by, it didn't matter what advice I was giving to business owners, they were just struggling to assemble a team of people that could go and execute on that strategy, and it was really holding them back. So we transitioned that to, hey, why don't we just offer them our team that I had built at that time, that had built my own business with the same tools, with the same principles, same methodology, to help grow their business. And so that was the kind of how the agency that we've got today initially evolved, of this team now doing work for other people, and so that's where we started out.
So now you're doing a done for you. What are the most common things that you see people not doing, or what's one of the first things you do for pretty much every client that our listeners could try to go do on their own?
Well, it's interesting nowadays, and just talking about like Dan Kennedy, GKIC, they're actually a client of ours. It's funny how these things kind of come around, right? And so at a high level, we deal with a lot of high level business owners and companies. And actually, some of that stuff is really nailing down a solid end-to-end front-end funnel for somebody, and there are a lot of, there sometimes can be quite a lot of pieces to that, but that's the thing. A lot of people come to us with a certain degree of complexity, and what we do is simplify that into something that's very easy for us to understand what's working, where it's working, or where it's not working, more importantly, and having something that everybody can be on board with, of that client journey from lead to customer, so that we can really get a line in the sand to know what we should do next. So it's really organizing what somebody's got to begin with, assembling that into a predictable lead to customer experience, and then from there going on to optimize that and customize it, doing all the things that we know how. But really it's getting very clear on the basics first.
Right. How important is paid advertising in today's world? Because I still see these people out there, I'm a social media marketer. But I was reading a thing just this morning by a guy talking about the ugly gamesmanship of Instagram and how that's quickly getting ruined. It's just like everything else. Right? I mean, marketers ruin everything. So it's everything I'm seeing is you got to pay. You got to have paid campaigns, particularly on Facebook, to really get the word out. Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, sure. I think there's three things that people should be focusing their attention on. Factually, they should focus their attention on one thing and do it well, end to end, and not give up on it halfway through, which is a common mistake, that they get attracted to different things. But the reason why I say three, because it's probably applicable to different people that are listening to this. One is your existing list. Okay, so not enough people have ways, mechanisms to generate leads from their existing list, meaning that they are presenting offers to their existing lists and segmenting them appropriately and converting them from leads to customers. So there is a lot of money, as the old adage says. Saying goes, the money is in the list. Well, that is partially true, but you've got to know how to get that money out of the list. But not enough people spend enough time on thinking about how they can monetize their existing list. That's number one. Number two is intentional traffic. There is, at any given time, people that are searching for what you have got to offer on Google. Google advertising right now, although it has increased in cost over time, is still an affordable and profitable way for most people to advertise. And where people have a certain level of intent, they have a search intent, something that they're actually looking for, you should be showing up. And for any other keywords that are related to your niche, you should also be showing up on Google AdWords. And then from a Facebook standpoint, you've got to understand that that level of interest targeting is not intentional. You are not. Although you think you're being intentional over the audience you're trying to target, that may very well be the case. You're actually interrupting people with your message. So it is a different type of targeting that you are, and it's a different kind of offer that you're presenting in order to capture somebody's interest or pique their interest to move them towards you. So there are three different types of ways to get people towards you, and those are indicative of those kind of three channels, really.
All right.
And that we spend most of our time on, right?
So let's boil this down, because most people, even if the list is small, they have a list. Right. Even if it's from a trade show 6 months ago where they got 300 names and it's sitting in an Excel spreadsheet and they never followed up with it. Or if it's a handful of fans on their fan page. But it's interesting the way you delineate and differentiate between Google and Facebook. So Google, somebody is typing in, Los Angeles auto mechanic or Miami Mexican restaurant, right? Or, New York chiropractor. So, So they're in the searching mode. They're trying to find something, whereas Facebook, they're maybe goofing off, right? They're escaping everything, and you're trying to insert an ad that captures their attention and says, stop looking at cat videos and arguing about politics, and come click on my ad, watch my video, pay attention, go somewhere else, and give me your name and email, right? So is one harder than the other?
Well, I think it's not necessarily how hard it is. I think that it's the message that's got to connect with the people from the outset, and that message to market match is the basics of any marketing that you're doing. Here's what I would say to you is, and hopefully this puts in perspective for people that are listening, is like if you're on Google and you're looking for a local business provider, you probably do not want to know if you type in Boca Raton chiropractor, okay? When you do that, what you don't want to see is a landing page with a free guide, which everybody tells you to do, okay? A free guide that says 5 things you need to know before, choosing a chiropractor, okay? You don't want that, because when you think about that, you can be very slightly off with that, because initially you might think, well, 5 things you need to know guide, it's information first, there's value in advance, we're getting people to give us their name and email, and that's what they want. Surely that's what they want, because we're now providing value. No. They have an intent behind that search, and they are intentionally looking for something far greater to put them into more of a call scheduling process, a call scheduling funnel, whereby they've already qualified themselves that they're almost better qualified than asking them to give us their name and email for a free ebook. They're already further down the funnel. They're sort of in the middle of funnel, bottom of funnel stage, not at the top of the funnel. And so the 5 things you need to know before an ebook, before you select a chiropractor, may not also work on Facebook. You may think it may do, but really what you're doing is at the top of the funnel there, which is more Facebook-led activity, you're probably driving things to 5 ways to avoid back pain when gardening this summer. Okay? Now that is content first that you can put onto Facebook. You can then drive them to a blog post, and then you can remarket them back to a lead magnet that's like 5 things that you need to know before you hire a chiropractor. So there's congruency to the heat of the people that are moving towards you.
So somebody typing in that chiropractor, say the first model, they're doing a search. Now, I will use my wife as an example, although we knew a chiropractor, but she did hurt her back. And we went to our friend. But if she didn't know anybody and she enters, chiropractor 92563, right, our zip code, I guess even that there's different stages. It's like, oh my gosh, I am hurt right this very moment. Right. So she was literally, doubled over, versus maybe somebody that did hurt their back gardening, and like, well, I'm going to walk it off. I'm going to try to sleep it off. Maybe they're in a different stage. Versus somebody that just has recurring, like every time I golf, my back hurts.
Right.
So let's take that guy. It's not totally urgent, and they do a search. Do they want to speak to somebody? Do they want to give up their information and maybe be hounded? Hey, come in for a free exam. Come in for a free X-ray. How would you guide somebody through that process?
Yeah, so I think the idea is that you need any of these stages where people are at. The closer to the pain that somebody is, the call to action has to resonate with the stage and phase of where they are at making their decision. The fact is, if I'm doubled over and I'm, not in a good way, I'm very much less likely to be reading a guide of who the best person is to choose. I'm more likely to pretty much know who can see me the quickest, how quickly can I call somebody to go and get booked in, how close are they to me, so there's a proximity thing, how quickly can they fit me in, and so the conversation and the keyword might be different. So the keyword might be something more like immediate chiropractor or or quick response chiropractor or last minute chiropractor appointment or whatever it may be. There's a different intent behind that search by what the search query they put in to one which is slightly higher level than that, where it's more of an inquiry, where they want to maybe download an information pack and then possibly go and schedule a call, very low resistance, a little bit higher level resistance. But the one where they come onto your website, they click from the ad, you may be like, for immediate support, you can just click to call straight from the advert. You may not actually need to go to a landing page, and then your lead capture process is actually on the other end from the inbound call that says, great, I'd love to help you with that. Sounds like you're not in a good way. Let me just take a few details and I can rush you through to our patient coordinator who can give you the next slot. You've got the data capture, but you've just taken it at a different place to generate the lead. So if they don't convert, then you've got a way to follow up.
Man, that seems like work.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. You got to do that. You got to do the hard things to make the selling easy. You know this.
Look, can't I just pay some kid $10 an hour to stand out front and twirl a sign, and just all these people will come in with back pain and just give me money?
Well, that's definitely a strategy that you could use. It may be one of the things that you might do. Maybe it's one of the things you should do. But it's probably one of the things you should do, because one day that kid's going to get ill. And you're going to want more than one channel of marketing to support everything that you're doing.
What about just like spilling water on the tile floor at the mall and just having people slip? Yeah. And like maybe like a mobile kiosk, like walk around like with one of those adjustable beds, like on wheels.
It sounds quite illegal, but it's something that I wouldn't put past you. So I think there's probably a job opportunity. If everything goes wrong here for you, then we can talk about how we can probably build a practice together.
Hey, look, at 1:49 a.m. back in April at an unnamed bar, I do have a recording of you providing that advice. So it didn't just come to my own mind, okay? I'm listening to you.
I don't recall that conversation, but I've got a good feeling I might have been under the influence. So,
You were under the influence of the sales whisperer.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it is work, right? And is that why people don't do it? Honestly, is because it's again, there's a different mindset for Google versus Facebook versus organic versus over time, right? I mean, this all changes. People are talking about, oh, hey, the algorithm's changing on Instagram. Oh, woe is me. It's like, well, hello, the algorithm is always changing, right? I mean, like, what's the longest you've run an ad, or even like right now, what's the longest running unchanged ad? You've done?
Yeah, sure. Great question. And here's the answer to it. We're still running the exact same funnel that we use from an offline lead generation to an online, so offline to online lead generation funnel that we've been using since 2004.
So it's the same funnel.
Yes. But
I bet you're using different ads over those 13 years.
There is there's been a lot of testing that we've done in that time of the messaging, but the message is still connecting with the audience. There's still alignment between them. There's still the congruency that really gets people to take action. There's still the same hook. What we've got better at is being able to segment the people that are coming in and then follow up with those people with different messages based upon the profile of them coming towards us. And that has increased conversions, and we've been able to do that a lot better with technology and automation as a result.
So, because I've had the same thing, that the 7 Deadly Sins of Selling. That was my first sequence that I made with Infusionsoft in 2008.
Right.
But again, I'm tweaking that all the time as well. Because that confirms two things. One is, the thing I always say is that humans are humans, and human nature doesn't change.
Right.
in sales, good sales training, it literally never changes. How to connect with somebody, how to establish rapport, how to discover need and pain. That will literally never, ever change. Now, the ad I create may change a little bit. But I mean, how long are you seeing something work? Because, there's the old thing about ad fatigue, right? If you run the same ad over and over and over again, we just start to block it out.
But I think it depends on the audience that you're targeting and the list that you're targeting, because there is a degree of fatigue that can happen if the message is being presented in the same way over and over and over again, or the same creatives being used over and over and over again to the same audience, because we live in a world of direct response. If I'm putting my advert, my message in front of somebody and they're not converting and they've seen it several times, ultimately, I'm wasting marketing money, marketing dollars, and I need to hone in my message, or I need to be, possibly testing something else. I think that you may have the same offer, but it might be presented in a different way, is a consideration. But I've got to be honest. I tell you this now, not because, just to show that even though we're running an agency and even though it's one of our businesses which we treat as a bit of a playground, I looked back at the lead source ROI report for one of our businesses that we do some marketing for, and it was an offline, which can be expensive, especially these days, to run an offline lead generation campaign. And we did all the lead source ROI stuff tracked in Infusionsoft, and that thing is getting 5,200 and something % ROI. Why is it getting so much? It was because there was a tail. There was a recurring revenue stream, and what we thought maybe wasn't working as well as we wanted it to, actually has been, over time, has prevailed to work extremely well because the lifetime value has been there. It just goes to show, sometimes the most expensive leads can be the cheapest customers.
Yeah, good point. How does somebody, though, stay the course? Because it can be frustrating. It can be, it can take the wind out of your sails, right? It's like, I'm spending money, I'm running these ads, nothing seems to be working. How did you have the confidence, to keep testing, keep iterating, and stay the course?
I think that just by my name, and I think I'm probably perhaps in the minority, in the sense that one of the things that will improve your business leaps and bounds is getting good and understanding that if you get good at marketing, it is probably the best skill that you can have to create income at will almost for your business. However, your business, as it will grow, goes through different phases. And when your business gets to a certain phase, you realize that although you might be good at marketing, actually you don't necessarily need to do the marketing, and neither should you be doing the marketing. And so that is not the way that you build a self-managing business. And so a business is a business. You want to be building a business, you don't want to be self-employed. And there's a big difference between the two. With me, I was lucky that, I think we were at a stage in our business where I had to got good at everything. I had to get good at Infusionsoft. I had to get good at some level of, WordPress programming. I had to get good at copywriting. And so all of these things I can do, but I realized at some point that I had to pass this knowledge down. I had to build a team of people, as certainly marketing, technology, advertising channels have changed. I had to eventually invest into a team that could do everything. You can't just be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Not in today's day and age, especially if you're a growing, thriving business. And so that was the distinction that I made, that we would begin building our team. So,
all right. you do. Just trying to think where to take this, because it is. I'm trying to overcome the objections of our listeners, right? Who maybe they've brought on people that didn't work. Really, I think deep down they're just not good marketers. So they've been lied to. They've been sold a bill of goods. It sounded good because they didn't know enough. Is that kind of a necessary step to go through and become good at these things, so you know what can be outsourced, or you can at least have your fingers in it? Because I always tell people the number one hardest thing to outsource is your marketing, because nobody will know your business like you will. Nobody will love your business like you do. And while you can bring in others to help, it still needs to be your baby, right, as the owner. And I mean, do you recommend people just totally give that away, outsource it, and hope for the best?
No, there's a really, really big difference between delegating and abdicating. And what I find is that a lot of small businesses are quite happy to what they think is delegate, but what they do is abdicate and then blame other people for it going wrong, because they haven't taken responsibility in growing their own business. And so, quite honestly, it's irrelevant or in a very unique situation, it would have to be relevant, whereby, you know, you hand everything over to somebody else, regardless of what their credentials are, and you have an expectation they're just going to grow your business for you. That's abdicating. You need to have a very clear vision for your business, and what priorities are going to drive that vision, in order to get clear on what success really looks like and what team you need to assemble to help you get there. And often it comes down to, once you get clear on that, it comes down to speed. How quickly do you want to get there? For sure, if you want to hone in and focus and sharpen your saw on, you know, buying courses, attending events, reading the right books, listening to the right podcasts, and being subscribed to the right newsletters, that's cool. But just be prepared that at the end of it, information doesn't lead or doesn't necessarily mate up with getting a better result. Not many people need more information. They just need to implement more things into their business. And that's, of course, where you then start thinking about, how do I assemble a team of people that can help me do this? And more importantly, when you do, find a team that actually is in alignment to what they've got, where the business is going, and what's going to be meaningful for the business. Otherwise, you can end up spinning your wheels, and you can also end up going through a very expensive process of working with people that, you know, aren't necessarily contributing to that vision.
How do you know when it's time to bring somebody in full-time versus outsource?
Well, it's a very good question, because a lot of people that we work with actually arrive at this point themselves, where they're thinking about, maybe, you know, they've tried doing it themselves. They've then tried building an outsourced team of people, maybe somebody to do Infusionsoft, maybe somebody to do copywriting, maybe somebody to build web pages for them or membership sites, whatever. And then they end up being a project manager themselves of all those people. And then they arrive at this decision that actually maybe I should just hire a marketing person in-house. But with that comes a huge liability and a huge risk, because although it might seem like a great thing to do to have somebody in-house, that $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 that you're going to have to spend to get somebody good is probably going to be good at one thing. They're probably not going to be good at lots of things. They're probably going to be good at one thing. And so you're going to then turn that person into a glorified project manager of, again, an outsourced team. And that can be a dangerous place to be, because in my world there are two different types of managers. There's process managers and project managers, and you actually need both in your business. And so really and this isn't really a pitch for us. I mean, there are other agencies that do, I'm sure, something similar. But, for us, that's really where we pick up the ball, because, we get aligned to that team that already exists, or get aligned to the business owner and what they need to have happen to realize their vision.
Right. Yeah, sometimes you got to kiss a few frogs, huh?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but it can be. I think that a lot of people have a decision-making process. They don't have decision-making processes in their business for how they hire, how they fire, how they bring on outsourcers, how they delegate work. They don't have a process for how they do it, and in part of that process it's sometimes like a litmus test. That you force yourself to give every single time, go through every single time you want to take something on or make a decision, which would give somebody some guidelines to if they're making the right decision or not. Because it can be a lonely place. Like when you need something done and you don't know how to do it, you've got to reach out to somebody to do it, and that means you putting your trust in somebody to actually go and do it with your hard-earned money. And so, you've got to have some sort of decision-making guidelines of how you go about to do that.
Right.
Blind, really,
And most people are just shooting from the hip, huh?
Right. We know we live in a fast world, but, there is some level of critical thinking that they need to go through to really allow them to realize their full potential.
Right. And are you helping people do that critical thinking? Or are you helping outsource that so they can free up their mind and focus on whatever, new inventions in the company?
Well, it's exactly like you said before that, I think everybody's under the same, certainly should have the same belief system that you can't expect to hire an outsourced marketing department and them to just grow your business for you. So generally when somebody engages with us, it's all about that strategic plan, because a lot of people don't have it. Even some of the best people that we work with that are 8-figure and beyond businesses, they just don't have it. They're just not clear on where they're trying to get to. What are we trying to do here?
Right.
They're just not clear. And so how could you possibly do anything unless you've got a clear vision for where you're trying to get to? And so often people are just stuck in the weeds. And they've got great ideas, lots of creativity about different funnels, different campaigns they can build. Yeah, great, but that's all fine. But what should you do right now to move yourself further forward from where you are? And part of that comes down to, let's get clear on your annual priorities. Let's bring that down into a 90-day plan. Let's bring that into a monthly deliverable. And even let's bring that down into a fortnightly sprint. And that's how we approach it. And it's proven to really just get people very focused on how they can best leverage our resources to get the best results.
Did you say fortnight?
Fortnightly sprint, yeah.
Golly, abdicate for. Hold on, I got to Google some stuff here. Man, you Australians are smart, man. Y'all use some big words.
Oh, Wes, you do crack me up, dude.
So, how big is your team now?
So, across the different businesses, we got 29 staff, and predominantly 16 are core members of our agency team that work really full service across the business, running traffic, copy, conversion, optimization, Infusionsoft campaign architecture, back-end development as well. Really full.
Does that count your daily massage therapist, or is that a contractor?
Well, it's actually funny because we actually used to get in weekly massages for the team. We used to have that as like a perk, and then weirdly, like some guy just said, I'm too busy to do this, and then we were like, oh, right, okay, fine, we'll take it away. And now since our team have grown, they're like, I got told that a few years ago you brought in this person each week. I'm like, yeah, well, we'll think about that. Yeah.
Man, back in 2004, I was in Austin working with a startup, And I had the whole Western U.S., so I traveled a bunch. But when I was in town, I'd go to the office, and once a week they'd bring this gal in as a massage therapist. And they were like, oh, she's the best, man, but she's so tough. She's, had deep tissue stuff. And, I'm 34, big guy working out. I can handle it. And, oh, my gosh, I had to summon every ounce of braggadocious manhood to not literally cry. And when we were done, I was like, oh, my gosh, that was so hard. She was like, you should have said something. I was like, I just thought that's what you did, and everybody liked it. I was like, this hurts so bad. I think I hurt for a week, man.
Dude, I've been there.
No more corporate massages. Oh, man. Well, that's awesome. Well, dude, thanks for sharing your words of wisdom. Where do we send people to learn more about you?
So they should head over to oliverbillson.com. That's Oliver Billson with 2 L's.com. I'm sure you put it in the show notes or whatever it is. And we publish twice a week on our blog over there, some cool stuff that's working for people right now. And they can go and check that out.
Very nice. And I've known you through the Infusionsoft community. Met you at Dan Kennedy's event a year ago. Can you believe it's been a year?
I know. It's crazy.
When you were speaking, and we're in a mastermind together. So everybody check out what Oli is up to. The guy knows his stuff. So, man, thanks for slowing down your pint consumption to shed some words of wisdom. I'm glad you did not abdicate the responsibility of the interview to one of your staff members, and you shared information on what I don't even know. It's not niche, niche. It's niche on the niches for all of us. Man, it's been great catching up with you.
Pleasure. Thanks so much, Wes.
All right, man. Have a great night.
See you later. Bye.
Like any good Dan Kennedy protege, you notice how he talked about one being the loneliest number, right? You can't have just one source of leads or of traffic. But conversely, when you do have one that is working, keep it going. So, we're in 2017 here. So he's had the same sequence running, in its core unchanged for 13 years. I've had one running for 9 years. So when something's working, let it keep working, right? Don't get bored with it. As long as it's producing leads and income and a positive ROI, keep going. But like any marketing plan, you want to iterate, right? In the very beginning, you create 3 very different offers, right? Let's say it's, a truck, a minivan, and a motorcycle. And if more people respond to the motorcycle, then go with the motorcycle. And so then you do a red motorcycle, a blue motorcycle, a yellow motorcycle. Okay, so now the yellow is popping. So now you go with yellow, and so now you start refining that. So you went from 3 different cars or 3 different types of automotive type devices to the motorcycle. Now you have the color. Now you start building out accessories or maybe various paint schemes and designs, maybe different shades of yellow, maybe pictures of a yellow motorcycle with saddlebags, right? Yellow motorcycle with flames coming along the side. And so you constantly iterate to see what works. And that's just a broad example, but you get the point. And as long as it's working, keep it running. But your goal is always to try to beat your best performing ad, your best performing sequence. But it's hard to do, honestly. Over time, you either get bored with it or there's other irons in the fire and, things come up and you got to tend to the emergencies. And then you let a campaign run too long and you waste money, or it got turned off because you set, a 5-day, 10-day, 30-day timer on it. You forgot to check, so then leads dry up. So there's a lot to running a business. So that's why you got to surround yourself. I know Oli because I'm in a mastermind with him. So I'm always surrounding myself with great people as well to give me advice and insight, help me when I'm frustrated, encourage me when things are going right or when they're going wrong. So, you can't do this alone, right? You're not really truly alone anyway. It's not like you're inventing things. There's already Facebook. You're reading somebody's book. You're reading blogs. Somebody's inspiring you. So get the help you need to grow faster. That's why I created the Dig Deep program. It's a modification of what I've always done through my initial process assessment, but it's a one-on-one time with me to peel everything back, apply my 21 years in sales experience to help you, 11 years as an entrepreneur and business owner. I've helped over 2,355 entrepreneurs automate, integrate, and dominate. And that's across 5 continents, 28 countries, and just about every industry you can think of. So check that out, digdeep.today. Let me help you dig deep today. Thanks for listening. As always, please share this. Please leave a review. Let me know you're out there. I put a request out today, actually, on Facebook. If you know of a podcast that I should be on, I'm looking to grow. I'm looking to be interviewed as well. So if you have contacts with people, if you like my approach, you think I'd be good on their show, please let me know. Do a little introduction. Do it on Twitter, wherever you hang out. You can email me. I will be greatly appreciative of that. Thanks for listening. And as always, remember to sell different.